All right, before I start this video, I want to put a quick edit in this and want to give a shout out and my best wishes and condolences to the sports and political channel of LB. For those who don't know or is unaware, he passed away, I believe, around Christmas Eve. I just got the news from 2 Raw and I believe also Ticket TV. Unfortunate news, man. I don't know the details. If you guys don't know, 2 Raw and other folks don't know as well, but that's none of our business, man. I just want to give my condolences to LB, his loved ones, and his family, man. I don't know the guy personally, but I've followed his channel for a good 2 years now, and I can't tell you how much of a great content creator he is. I mostly got my political news and my sports from LB. He was one of the guys that I always check in just to say what's up and just to see what's going on in the world. I'm not really a political guy, but he always knows his ins and outs about politics. There are some things that there's a lot of things that I agree with and some things that I do agree with, but I always come in a respectable manner for LB, man. And I don't know I don't know what happened, like I mentioned, but I can guarantee you that he is without a doubt one of the best small content creators in this space. And in the LDBC, I think without the LDBC, without him, there wouldn't be a LDBC. And I'm not a part of it, but he really carried it. And I believe what he did for this community was really great. And there's nothing else I can't really say about it. The guy's just a great overall guy, if not a better guy when he's not a content creator, but as a person as well. So just want to give that out there and just say rest in peace to LB. My condolences, my thoughts and prayers to you, man. You are definitely in a better place, man. And I just want to thank you for everything that you really did, man, for this space. And, everything that you did do while you were still here. So thank you, brother. And again, rest in peace. Man, this is exactly why the Kings will forever be poverty and forever be a trash-ass organization. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Look, this surprise took me off guard. Mike Brown getting fired, man, is absolutely nasty, diabolical work. All right, so let's get into it, man. So Mike Brown just got fired. He, I believe, stayed there for 3 seasons, right? 2 of them being, if you want to consider a play-in playoffs, then I can kind of see that as a somewhat of a success, right? First season, he took the team to 48 wins. I believe he also won Coach of the Year. And he also played the Golden State Warriors in the first round, lost to them in 7. Now, look, you can argue, you can probably convince to me that maybe if they would have played another team like the Lakers or the Memphis Grizzlies or something like that, they probably would have advanced to the second round or probably had a better chance, right? This is the Golden State Warriors that we're talking about, the team that were defending champions, right? Not to mention that Mike Brown was also a assistant head coach with that same team in 2022, and which led him to get this head coaching job with the Sacramento Kings. So, you can probably convince to me that if they didn't play the defending champions, they probably would have advanced, right? But overall, 48 wins, first round, almost advanced. It wasn't a, overall good season, but considered a success, right? At least for the Kings standards. Mind you, the Kings haven't been in the playoffs since the Chris Webber days. I don't even think DeMarcus Cousins even took them to the playoffs. So that's got to count for something, right? Because of how poverty and how trash this organization is. Speaking of, I wonder, I got a subscriber on here who's also a Kings fan. Please share your thoughts on here on what you think about this. But anyway, the season after that, they went from 48 and went to 46 instead. Still not a 50-win team, but it was good enough to be in the play-in. They lost to the New Orleans Pelicans. Shout out to my boy Brandon Ingram. Forget Zion. He's just whatever, right? They lost in the play-in to the Pelicans, and that was that, right? And now you got this season where I believe, what's their record? Like 12-15 last time I checked. And yeah, I got the news from 2 Raw saying, I saw the news from 2 Raw saying that how he got fired really took him off too, or not him specifically, but like Mike Brown, he was getting on the flight to play the Lakers. The Kings were getting ready to play the Lakers, and he just got the quick notification that he has been fired and wants to be cut or is supposed to be at leave immediately, whatever type of sense that makes, right? But yeah, overall, the Kings are just struggling. Honestly, I want to say that De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, they really thrived off of Mike Brown. But I think as the years go on, I don't know if it was I know him and De'Aaron Fox were having some problems recently on Draymond's podcast. I don't know about Sabonis. But overall, they both were flourishing under Mike Brown, right? De'Aaron Fox won Clutch Player of the Year and was also an All-Star, his very first All-Star. And Sabonis really just thrived off of Mike Brown. He was also an All-Star. I believe he also got some MVP votes, so that's got to count for something, or, got to have some sort of credit, right? Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter were like the Splash Brothers if they were role players, right? I mean, Keegan Murray was, I believe last season he had over 206 threes made last season and past Donovan Mitchell, right? And Kevin Huerter was just a sniper, an absolute, he was just one of the definitions of a catch-and-shoot player, or I guess a sniper, right? A sharpshooter at will, right? Malik Monk, who, in my opinion, is still a dog. Shout out to Malik Monk, man. I love his intensity. I love his drive. He's like, I don't know. He's like Patrick Beverley if he was a better player. No shot at Patrick Beverley whatsoever. But he just has that dog mentality. I like that from Malik Monk, man. Shout out to him. But yeah, all those guys just really fell off a cliff, man. I don't know what happened. Kevin Huerter fell off a cliff. Keegan Murray was just stagnant, fell off a cliff. Malik Monk, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's not the same. That Chris Duarte guy, I don't know about him, but he probably fell off a cliff as well. So yeah, all these guys fell off a cliff, man. And of course, they didn't really have any off-season moves that much, but they replaced Harrison Barnes, who is very good at his disappearing acts. Look, Harrison Barnes to me is like the Avatar, right? Anybody that watches the Avatar on Nickelodeon, one of the best shows of all time, man, one of the best shows. He has a habit of disappearing when the world needs him most, right?
Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished.
So, yeah, they were going on to replace him with DeMar DeRozan. My boy DeMar DeRozan, shout out to him. Hey, it's not LA, it's not the Clippers, it's not the Lakers, but it's the Kings, right? Still in California. So, of course, he wanted to go there, right? Now, personally, I thought, well, before I say this, there was a debate on if this was rather a good fit for DeMar, right? Because of the spacing and how he can pretty much make the defense just really just collapse into the front court, right? Or not the front court, the back court, excuse me, right? And just give the team make the team stagnant. Now, I believe his numbers are still great. Maybe not great, but they're still pretty good, right? Around 21 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. That's got to mean something. You know, I don't know. I just think the upgrade with DeMar DeRozan for Harrison Barnes was a win for the Kings. It's something better than nothing. And I also believe that however this season turns out, right? I believe whatever comes from the Kings, right? He can also be seen as a third option, right? He's a veteran, so he brings veteran experience, playoff experience, despite his disappearing habits as well. But he can always look for De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis and just be comfortable as the third guy, if not probably the fourth guy with his age, right? So, yeah, and not to mention you also got JaVale McGee, who's also a veteran and also brings veteran experience, winning experience. He won a championship with the Warriors and the Lakers. I don't think it was back-to-back. I think it was like 18, and then he won a championship with the Lakers in 2020, of course. So, yeah, of course, you know, DeMar, if I haven't said this already, DeMar is a miles better player than Harrison Barnes. I see that as an upgrade. So here we are, right? The Kings are, I believe, last time I checked, 12-15. And, you really can't blame Mike Brown for the cards that he's been dealt with, right? I mean, he's took this team to new heights, I believe. I see that as a win, given the fact that the Kings are an absolute poverty franchise. They haven't seen very much success, right? So them getting into the first round, having a 48-win season, and then the year after that, having a 46-win season into the play-in, I see that as an absolute win for them, right? It's not much, but it's something, right? And shout out to 2 Raw, right? I also just found that out that I completely forgot about this, but De'Aaron Fox is a client of Clutch Sports. So, I don't know, maybe Rich Paul, I mean, look, I know 2 Raw had his little conspiracy theory. I'm having mine, right? Maybe, I'm just saying, Rich Paul saw, that, he doesn't really rock with Mike Brown, him or LeBron, right? And he's got a great player like De'Aaron Fox on a small market team like the Kings, right? So he probably put 2 and 2 together and said, hey, I got a great client, I got a great player in De'Aaron Fox, I got someone like Mike Brown that I don't really rock with. Hey, either there's going to be some changes around here or my client's going to have to request a trade. That's just what I think, right? I'm just saying, right? I mean, look, Rich Paul, he's a guy that I think likes to get his hands dirty if there's no change. And, at some point, I don't blame him. I don't blame Rich Paul, but if you see some sort of success in that organization, if you see some sort of success on what that player is doing for that organization, you don't think, maybe you should give it some time, Rich Paul? I'm just saying. But, I get it. It's every man for themselves, right? So, of course, the Kings had to, cut their losses before De'Aaron Fox requested trade. And I think now that I'm saying this, I don't even think De'Aaron Fox has signed an extension with the Kings, right? Excuse my language. My words got caught off. But yeah, I don't think he even signed an extension with the Kings. So yeah, the pressure was really on for the Kings organization. They had to make a change, not just with Rich Paul breathing down their necks, but with also how the team has been struggling. I don't know about all of us, but some of us all thought that with DeMar and JaVale McGee, we all thought that this team was going to be a whole lot better than the two previous seasons, right? Especially with a great veteran like DeMar and JaVale McGee, right? But yeah, here we are, man. Now the Kings are, they don't have a head coach. I believe Doug Christie is their, as of now, interim head coach. I don't know if they made him an official head coach as of this video, but here we are, right? This is why the Kings will forever be poverty, right? I mean, look, I know I say that my Chicago Bulls are complete garbage, and they've been poverty since Michael Jordan, and we've had some glimmers of hope with Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler, right? And now we got the Kings that we're talking about. They haven't been in the playoffs since, I want to say, since Chris Webber, right? I don't even think DeMarcus Cousins even took them to the playoffs. And the thing about the Kings, right, is that they had so many great players on that team, like from the Chris Webber era to now, right? Within that time span, they had so many great players with, aside from DeMarcus Cousins, of course, they had Isaiah Thomas, and remember when Hassan Whiteside was on the team. Look, Hassan Whiteside isn't the player that we all thought he was, but, when he was in his prime on the Heat, that's what he should have been on the Kings, right? I forgot, who's that other guy? Tyreek Evans, he was on the team, right? Rondo, all these guys. You had all these great pieces, and you're still garbage. Listen, the Kings are just absolute poverty. I know everybody clowns the Clippers, man, but come on. The Clippers have had much more success, aside from the Oscar Robertson and Jerry Lucas years, right? They are absolute poverty compared to the Clippers. At least the Clippers has some sort of playoff success within that time span. But anyway, yeah, this is why the Clippers. This is why the Kings will forever be poverty. They will always be the bottom of the barrel, and it doesn't really help that despite that they're in California, they're still considered as a small market team, right? So that's pretty much not in their favor as well. So, yeah, the Kings suck. Overall recap, the Kings suck. They made a terrible decision firing Mike Brown. And before we all know it, I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm not some sort of fortune teller. But before we all know it, who knows? Maybe this team might blow up and there might be a fire sale on the Sacramento Kings, just like how the Pelicans are right now. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. Everyone take care. And, oh yeah, and happy holidays and a happy new year. I don't know if I said that. I wish you all the best. Thank you guys for the amazing run that I've had on this channel. I see the views, I see the comments that you guys give me on Instagram. I want to thank you all, man, each and every one of you. 2025 I'm going to make 2025 a commitment to make this channel consistent, if not somewhat consistent, definitely better than this year's. So yeah, thank you all, man. I wish you all the best. Be safe, happy holidays, and a happy new year, man.